Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Unity of Vancouver and our class this evening, Becoming Supernatural, based on Dr. Joe Dispenza's best-selling book of the same title. Our host this evening, as I'm sure you're all well aware, is the Reverend Bob Trask. So with that said, let's bring him on. We'll stop that share and let's bring Bob up as our spotlight. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Randy and team. And thank you for all of you who are looking in, for being here. Those of you on YouTube, thank you, thank you. Those of you who are on Zoom, thank you. And those of you who are on YouTube, incidentally, we're going to do a breakout room a little later where we can have individual conversations. So if you'd like to be a part of that breakout room, then you can leave YouTube, go over to unityofvancouver.org and hit the Zoom button and come in as Zoom. Same deal, except that you get to be a part of the breakout room. We're in a moment, we're going to meditate. But before we start, I want to tell you that I've been through this book a couple of times. I've taught this class a couple of times. And this chapter that we just read maybe is the most important chapter of your life. It may be the most important chapter of any book you'll ever read if you're really looking for personal transformation. We'll get into that tonight. For right now, let's meditate. If you just put your feet flat on the floor and get the lower part of your back up against the back of your chair, and then just relax, breathing in softly through your nose, holding that breath for 3 or 4 minutes, and then breathing out through your mouth without pushing, just letting your body relax and letting the breath just fall away. Let's just do that for a few minutes and get ourselves ready for this powerful class tonight by going into a deep, beautiful, peaceful quiet. Can you be here without being in time? Can you be here and feel the space within you and the space around you? Can you be here and not think, no thoughts? In 60 seconds, I'm going to ask you to come back to the room. And when you do, will you please bring with you this beautiful self you're feeling right now? Thank you, Randy, for that beautiful slide and for the beautiful music. It was very nice. As I said earlier, my dear friends, this chapter, like the class that we did before, You Are the Placebo by Joe Dispenza, and this class, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe, I think in both of those books, he was reaching to bring us to this chapter. And he started off this chapter by talking about the way commercials and TV commercials program us subconsciously. And I've known this for some time, but did you know that Every big advertising company has a staff of of uh, of people on staff that are there um, to figure out the um, the psychology and the emotions of buyers relative to an individual product that they're trying to sell. And the advertisers and the advertising executives and the artists and the musicians and everybody collaborates to try to figure out how they can get to your subconscious mind. They know that if they appeal to your conscious mind, if they say, we have this pill that you can take that'll help you with your XYZ health problem. And incidentally, this can cause infertility, erectile dysfunction, heart disease, cancer, hemorrhoids, gout, and a possibility of losing all your hair. But, ask a doctor if this is right for you. You'd say, are you kidding me? I'm not taking that. But they don't appeal to your conscious mind, do they? They go past the subconscious mind into the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, the mind that's lives in our limbic brain and throughout all the cells of our body. There's no consciousness, there's no thinking there. It's just reaction and action. So they're reaching down into the mailbox of each one of us and finding out what kind of mail we got and reading our mail and deciding then what they can send us that we will react to perfectly. That's called programming the subconscious mind. And you and I are continually being assaulted by billboards, by radio ads, by TV ads, by I have to tell you, I thought I would go online and just look and see if anybody had anything wise to say about how advertising programs that subconscious mind. And I found an article by a woman who's absolutely a genius, and she's right on top of it. And as I was reading, these ads were coming up all over around the area that I was reading. I thought it was so wild. I'm reading about how advertisers program you and how they get to you in ways that you don't recognize. And all the time I'm reading this, these ads are coming up. Here's a better bra. Here's a better this, a skateboard, buy this car. Do you know that you can get rid of all your wrinkles within 5 minutes? I was going, this is so crazy. But our world is now run by advertisement. And of course, the programs that we watch on television, well, those programs are being made possible by advertisers, aren't they? So, I mean, we can't say there shouldn't be advertisers. I just think that maybe there should be a little bit of safeguard about our own private minds and not being quite so manipulated, mentally and emotionally manipulated. Do you realize that that 1/4 of the time that we watch commercial television, 1/4 of that time is advertisements? 1/4 of the time. 15 minutes out of every hour is advertisements. So here's what I do, because I still watch. I very seldom watch commercial TV unless I'm watching a ball game, because I love sports. But the other things that I want to watch, like sitcoms or series, I watch those on Netflix or one of those where I don't have to watch the commercials. But if I'm watching anything that's got commercials, I've got my finger on the mute button. And the minute that commercial comes on, I mute it and I look away. I will not allow myself to be programmed. God bless them that they're paying for my show. I do appreciate that, but I don't appreciate the fact that they're being dishonest, and they're being so dishonest, as you can see by what Joe wrote in that chapter today. I mean, they're saying things that are patently untrue, like that as you get older, your immune system fails, so that you're apt to now you're going to get shingles, or you're going to get diabetes, or you're going to have heart disease because you're getting older. So because your immune system's failing and your body's getting weaker, and so obviously you're going to be dead very soon if you don't take our medicine. It's such baloney, and it's not true. So we just need to we just need to get away from that. So I'd like to stop yammering for a minute and let's just have some sharing about how your week went or how you feel about commercial television and advertising and the people that are trying to manipulate your life. So let's just open it up.
Yeah, and Bob, I just want to say for everybody, if you could go to the reactions icon and click to the button on the very bottom that says raise hand, that'll help us to answer the questions in the order that they have been asked. So yeah, please just please go ahead and click those and we will start questions now. So we got 2 raised hands. We're going to start with Jean K. So Jean, just a moment. Let's bring you up and we're adding you now. And let's make sure you're unmuted. You are. Go ahead, Jean.
Yeah.
Good evening, my sis.
Hello, Bob. I just appreciate you so much, and you're so right. I mean, and Joe is too. You know, from having cancer for 3.5 years, I've been given all kinds of advice. I mean, you know, people can't help but think that they're helping, and you know, oh, you should try this, oh, you should try that, and I mean, there's medications of all kinds out there, but and people say to me, well, you know, well, how are you doing? And I said, I'm doing fine. And they say, well, what about side effects? And I just say, I don't do side effects. And I don't, you know, I mean, in all that time with now I think we're at 42 chemo treatments, I have not been sick one day.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I just, if the scans didn't show it, I wouldn't know I had it. You know, that, so yeah, just ignore that stuff. I mean, why would you buy it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know that you know this because you and I have worked together for a lot of years, but just for everybody else, what you and I have agreed upon many times is that if you think it's so, it's so. If you think it's not so, it's not so. And that's not 100% accurate, but it's 95% accurate, at least.
Yeah. And it's like you say, all we've got is right here, right now. So a prognosis is yes. Absolute fantasy. You know, yes. It's an educated guess, but it's not one that I want to listen to. So I'm still here.
You are in fact. Thank you, my sis.
You're welcome.
Next. Dee, you're muted, dear.
I am?
No, you're not.
Wasn't me. Oh, I find it very interesting, the algorithm systems, like when you're on social media or even in your Google News or any sort of news that comes through your handheld devices, it's basically feeding you what you believe. So the news that my mother, for instance, because she's always telling me about what she read on the news, which I love, but I'm like, well, where did you get it? And why did you get it? So I think it's very interesting that now, because technology and the information is so prevalent, we can literally find anything we're looking for, and we can find the argument to support it. And sometimes it just bombards. You know, I was looking for a jumpsuit. Now all the ads on my Facebook are jumpsuits. So it's very interesting. So now I'm seeing all the, and jumpsuits must be modern, must be in, because I'm seeing it all the time. And I think that's something that, you know, is very insidious. It can very much make you believe your own story because it's fed back to you. And it's exactly what we're talking about, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, in 1984, George Orwell wrote about Big Brother. Well, here's Big Brother. And we all thought Big Brother was going to be the government. The government's lagging way behind the big corporations and the big advertisers. The big advertisers and the lobbies and Wall Street, they run America. I don't know about Canada, but they run America. We elect presidents and they're like the Queen of England. for most part, they're sort of dignitaries. They try their best, but the Congress runs the United States, and Congress is run by the lobbyists and by the big corporations and by the advertisers. Hello. So anyway, we are individuals. We don't have to put up with that. Nobody can get into your head unless you let them get in. Get the mute button in your hand if you're watching TV. Look away. Don't let them do that to you. You watch a really beautiful show on TV full of all kinds of good stuff, and then in between they tell you you're dying. Thank you, Dee. Next. Nobody?
Oh, is it me?
Oh, hi, Uda.
Hi. I PVR, so I can just fast forward through the commercials. But even if the commercials run, I've always gone like, how on earth does anybody take any of these medications that they're trying to sell you? I'm going like, just when they have to declare the possible side effects, I'm always going, that's much worse than a hangnail, which you're trying to cure. Why would anybody take your drug? And I find, but the question is, I'm always vigilant, I think, always questioning, always not taking things like in to be programmed. But then when I want to reach my subconscious, I think I struggle with that as well, because there's always that vigilant aspect. So I'm not, like part of the thing I think is over surrendering. Challenge to know what it is that I really want to, other than in loose terms, like I have all of that, and I'm great at affirming and being present in the moment. But then when it gets to specifics, it's like I can't even figure out where I might want to live, or like anything. It's like, oh, I don't know, what does spirit want for me?
I'm usually counseling 2 to 3 people, and it's going on right now. There's 4 people actually that have so-called terminal diseases. And all I can do is hold them in my heart, hold them in the light, send tons of energy, and encourage them, each of them, to live by their affirmations. Doesn't mean that they're going to cure their disease, but if their disease has any emotional, mental component, then let's get that out of the way. And so, the doctor that was Dr. Finster, who was our speaker on Wednesday night, gave us an affirmation. And the affirmation, as I remember it, is, I am safe. I am completely well. I am completely well. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. Now, how hard is that? How hard is that to say, I am safe, and to think of that, let it sink in. I'm safe. I'm completely well. Get the rest of the nonsense out of the way. I'm completely well. Say it a couple of times. I am love.
I am completely well. I am loved.
I am love. I'm
peace. I am joy.
Yes.
I'm divinely guided. I am blessed.
Yes.
All of that is so much of my repertoire. And sometimes I'll sing the affirmations to myself as I'm walking or doing whatever. It's like the child in me. So on the general term, all is really, really well. But then I hear the message that I need to take action and I don't know what action to take. So then I feel like I'm getting it wrong.
Uta, the action doesn't come from here. The action comes from your beingness. If you be, like if you're doing your affirmations and you're this goofy child walking and singing and you're being you, then don't worry about the action. The action will automatically come out of your being. If you try to make an action, it always goes cross grain to who you are as a being. Just let yourself be and don't worry about taking action. Just be, and you'll begin to find yourself doing from your being, and then having from your doing.
Okay, so I can
Lovely,
let
Uta.
go of that burden. Thank you.
You bet.
Next up, we have Kayla Bob.
Okay.
I just have a quick thing to mention. In the early 80s, I can remember when advertisers got really excited by what they could do, and they began to put subliminal messages in all the movie theaters and different around and on TV, and they would, things like buy popcorn, or, they were beginning to do that. And I believe, and I don't know how it is right now, but then they brought legislation in that they weren't allowed to do that, because of course that's going into the subconscious mind too. So their sales did go up in the theater for a while in terms of popcorn, etc.
And you're right. And Kayla, they're so smart that they said, oh, we can't do it subliminally. Then let's do it subconsciously. See, the fact of it is that we the people are last in line. I don't mean this sound like I'm anti-government or like I'm some Haight-Ashbury hippie down on the government. I'm just telling you that the fact of it is that money runs the world right now, and money is big companies and big advertisers. And there are a lot of billionaires and millionaires who are philanthropists and who really care and who are trying to help make the world a better place, but they're also fighting an uphill battle. And what we need to do as the people they're trying to reach is make a stand individually and say that I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. There was a store here in the United States that a chain store here in the United States that was against homosexuals. They would not hire homosexuals in their store chain, and then they became really strong supporters of Trump. Well, you can do whatever you want, but I personally they don't ever get a dime of my money. So you mean we have the right to do what we want as individuals, and if enough of us make a stink, then maybe something changes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob, that's it for questions, and we're right on time at 7:30. And
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along then. We were reading in this chapter about creating a mind movie. And for a while, the first time I read this, I thought that because he was talking about these two people who had created that in Australia, I thought maybe they had created some sort of a video system whereby you could go to their organization and create a video of your mind movie. And what I came to realize as I read on is that you are the producer and director and star of your mind movie. And so we need to really create a mind movie. And the mind movie that we need to create is the one that we want to live by, not the one we've been living by. Because even though our lives, mine certainly has been filled with a lot of train wrecks, but it's also been a marvelous life filled with such great adventure and so much joy and such great friends, so much love. And oh, experiences high in the mountains, deep under the sea. I saving lives, holding people while they died, helping a baby be born. Just so many, many, many adventures. Such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. But even in that life, or not, I shouldn't say even in that life, as in all lives, there were a lot of glitches. There's some guilt, some shame, some mistakes, some damn it's, some feeling bad about me because of this or that, or a mistake I made, or somebody died because I was careless, or somebody died because I was doing first aid and I did not do the right thing. I mean, I could go on and on. I could talk about things that sometimes keep me up at night. And I'm like all of you. We're all the same. My dear friend Joe Lamano, who's my brother, the dearest, dear close friend, Joe Lamano, one of my wilderness trainers and mentor. I was complaining to Joe one time about, we were on a mountain up on Molokai, and I was complaining to him, and I said, I've traveled around the world and I've done so much work, and I've taught thousands of classes, but Joe, I don't know really whether I've done any good at all. I just look back and I see all of my mistakes. And he said, so if we get a giant football stadium and put you on the grass in the middle and fill all the stands with your students, would you then be happy? And I thought about that, and I thought how foolish it is for me, or for you, or for anyone, to look at the dark sides and the bad sides. Because when we were little babies, when our little butts were wadded up with great big diapers, and we first learned to walk, we went 2 steps and boom, down we went. Got up 2 steps, down, boom, we went. And we kept doing that. We fell 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 times a day. But we never said, oh, I'm a failure. I guess I'll never walk. I've fallen 6 times in the last 5 minutes. I guess I'm done. We didn't do that as a baby. We didn't do that when we were learning to ride a bicycle. We only started doing that when we started becoming conscious of the fact that we could be wrong, that we could be mistaken, that we could be stupid, that we could be less than we were supposed to be. Then we started adding up these little demerits that the church likes to call sins. We started adding all those up, and that beautiful blank slate of our subconscious mind has all of these little dark marks on it. So what a mind movie is bringing up the best of who we are and focusing on it so that it erases all of that junk, that garbage, and lets us know that we have the power and the ability to be, do, and have whatever we dream of. Not because we're selfish, or because we're self-aggrandizing, or because we want to be rich while other people are poor, but because when we have our lives working and we have personal power, and we have the resources that are available to us in the world moving in our direction, then we can make a difference. Otherwise, we can't. You know what we're doing? Sitting on the couch and watching I Love Lucy reruns. But if we can create a mind movie that the whole subconscious system, the whole unconscious system watches every day, watches this movie every day, then it's very much, as Joe Dispenza said, it's very much like when we were watching, like when we're watching the TV commercials. We're being programmed. We're being programmed. So here's what we need to do. We need to create a mind movie. And to do that, we need to imagine the dream. What do you want? What do you dare not want and then dare to want it? What do you dare not want and then dare to want it? What do you want? Now, I'm not saying that you can get that thing that you want. I'm saying that the path between here and that thing is sacred. And as you move toward that thing, along that path, you grow and you change and you become. And then you may get close to it or even get to that vision and say, it's not, I don't even care about this anymore. That's what I want, that thing beyond there. And then you move on beyond that. So you have to imagine the dream. You have to dare to imagine the dream and narrow it down. Oh, I want this, and 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 this. That's vector splatter. Get a dream, a vision. If you had a string of pearls around your neck and they were not knotted, women, you know what I'm talking about, not knotted. And the string broke and the pearls went all over the floor and they were graduated on your neck from the smallest to the back into the largest in the center. You can't pick them all up at once. You can get a needle and a thread. You can get down on your hands and knees and you can pick them up one at a time until you have your necklace back together. And that's the way we have to do our visions and our goals, one at a time. So when you imagine the dream, it's the dream that's next in your life. Dare to imagine the dream that's next in your life. And then you know what you do? You imagine it in 3D. You imagine it in 3 dimensions, not 1 dimension. You see it 3-dimensionally. And then you watch that every day. And but most important of all, you write it down. You write it down because in the act of writing it down, you make a contract, you make a commitment to the universe, you make a commitment to yourself. In writing it down, you make it real. It's no longer just airy-fairy. Now it's got space and a solidity about it. You write it down. And then if it isn't right, then you throw it away and write it down again, throw it away, write it down again until you get the story. You get the story, the mind movie story of where you're going and what you want to do and who you are in that process. I am a good and worthy man. And I am becoming whatever that is. So you write it down and you write that story and then you tell the story. You tell it to yourself every day. Especially as Dr. Joe says, when you wake up in the morning, the way your brain is in when you wake up in the morning, you tell your story. You tell your story and tell your story. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm accomplishing. And your brain sends all these messages to your cells and to your DNA, and they start responding. And you get all of these wonderful hormones going on in your body that invigorate you and make you young again and strong again so that you can go forward and do the things that you're here to do. Because you and I are not here by accident, are we? We're not here by accident. We came here for a reason, with a purpose. So I'm going to ask you to go into your breakout rooms. And I'm going to ask you to follow this question. And you can have 20 minutes or at least 20 minutes in there. And the question is this: what is your most precious dream? Now, this is a little bit of a stretch. And you know why? Because you can't mess around with this. We're talking about the treasure in your heart. Let's see, I kind of wanted to go to Nebraska for my hunt. No, what is your most precious dream right now, today? Your most precious dream. Dare to feel it, dare to think it, and dare to share it, please, please. And don't let anybody pull you off subject into something else. Stay focused. What is your most precious dream? Please go now to your breakout rooms and make sure you listen.
You got to set the time, 20 minutes, perfect.
20 minutes, be good.
Okay. I was So everybody that is watching this evening on YouTube, we are now going into the breakout rooms, and just allow this to be a little bit of a commercial for attending the classes by Zoom, because when you attend by Zoom, we can put you into the breakout rooms, but we can't take the different breakout rooms and put them on YouTube for a couple of reasons. One is there's too many rooms to fit on one Zoom screen. And the other reason is we like to preserve a certain level of confidentiality so that the people that are in the breakout rooms can be candid and go into a deeper level of sharing. So what we do at this point is we will normally stop the YouTube feed, which we will again do this evening, and we will recommence it in approximately 20 minutes.